Usually supergroups are a good thing. It's a good way to bring a bunch of different people together in order to produce a brand new product. And after Adam Gontier left 3 Days Grace, it was sort of up in the air what he was going to be doing. And of course, as we saw from the 3 Days Grace album that came out earlier this year, their replacement didn't exactly add much to the band. It's one of the main reasons why I didn't review it. That, and I just didn't feel like ripping it to shreds. But other people did that, but Adam has found himself securely in Staind and Asonia, which is a supergroup of sorts, along with one of the members from Staind, a former member of Switched and Stuck Mojo. It's interesting, that's to say the least. So, Staind and Asonia's self-titled album is one that a lot of questions sort of pervade before a single track was even revealed to us. We all know that Adam has a very signature vocal style, and it was going to be kind of interesting to see how this vocal style translated over into a group that was not the 3 Days Grace core group of guys. If it was something that was going to be affected all that much, if the songwriting was going to essentially make us feel like 3 Days Grace 2.0. So with the self-titled release, there's a lot to kind of prove, and if there's one thing that can certainly be stated by listening to this album is that while there are some moments that will remind you very much of Adam's former project, this is one that definitely has a very independent feel to it for a lot of various reasons. Probably the biggest reason is the fact that Adam's vocals, his vocal ability or his vocal reflection has certainly gone a little bit further on this album. It seems as though he was a bit more explorative with Staind and Asonia. His highs and lows are not something that's kind of counteracted by that nasally, very predictable and very much a keystone of his style, that medium range that he has that has a bit of a gruff exterior to it, a very angsty edge to it, but instead it's one that is easily kind of counteracted by a lot of melody and a lot of, at times, heart, even though with heart comes also the opposite of heart, which is hate. Lyrically speaking, this is an album that seems to really be geared and directed toward a lot of heartbreak, which some people have suggested has been based around Adam's divorce with his ex-wife Naomi. And there is even a track on here where Naomi was one of the writers of the song, and if you remember, the two of them co-wrote one of 3 Days Grace's biggest hits, Never Too Late. Trying to catch up with the world, and it's actually one of the best songs on the album. This is one that actually showcases true diversity. It's one that separates Staind and Asonia from literally being 3 Days Grace 2.0. Now, there are others that come before this song, which is track number 9 on the album. However, this is the one that's probably the most noted. I feel that this is a track that would have never made it onto a 3 Days Grace album, which is a damn shame because it's probably one of the better songs that I've heard Adam on. Simply based around the realistic nature of the lyrics, they have a little bit of philosophy mixed within just some heart-tugging angst. It's definitely one that has a lot of chances for folks to quote lyrics and use them in their daily life, and kind of feel like there's a lot of relatability there. This track also showcases the softer side of this band, which is definitely one that is shown a couple of different times on this album, and done so actually rather well. Staind and Asonia as an overall album is one that's pretty well put together. If you're not a fan of 3 Days Grace or find Adam Gontier's vocals to be just not your cup of tea, then this is probably an album to avoid, simply because that's the voice you're going to hear. But if you're willing to give something a chance, this actually offers a little bit more dynamically than a 3 Days Grace release was able to do. And a lot of 3 Days Grace fans are probably looking at me like I just shit their bed for them, but it's kind of the truth. It was only with their previous release, the last one with Adam, where I really felt like they were starting to evolve and morph into better songwriters and ones that didn't see the need to kind of maintain themselves within just a simplified happy medium. And I think one of the main reasons why they did that in the first place was, well, the same reason why a lot of bands do it, because it was working and they were selling records. And you can't hardly fault them too much for that, especially whenever you consider some of the stories of Mike, who is in Staind, one of the members of Staind and Asonia, whose band basically had a little bit more free reign whenever their breakthrough album Dysfunction was released, and every album thereafter, which slowly but surely went downhill after, what was that, Break the Cycle, just seemed to really, really take a hit and go to hell. And that was based around record company and a lot of posturing from people that Had nothing to do with the band. Overall, this is an album that's pretty darn good. I'd probably give it a 70... No, you know what? I'd actually give it a 79 out of 100. It's still not 100% my cup of tea, but it was an enjoyable listen. And it's one that showcases that diverse factor, that actually these individuals are, whenever they come together, were able to really maintain and really exhibit to the world. But I want to know what you guys think about this album. What do you think about the self-titled release from Saint Asonia? Let me know in the comments below. And come right back. In fact, hit that subscribe button right now, considering we're going to be talking about Miss May I probably here within a couple of hours. Unless you're viewing this from the future, where that album review is already up. But either way, if it's somewhere, you'll see it somewhere. Visit that too. And stuff. I need to turn my fan back on. It's hot in here.